what's up, Guru Nation? How's it going, everybody? We are here today to bring you episode 3 of the 2021 Guru Nation podcast. I'm your host, Spencer the Guru, here with my loyal co-host, Josh Como. What's up, it go?
Man, not too much, man. Just super excited on this lovely Friday for a juicy little mock draft, man. They always say it's a little early for mock drafts. I say it's never too early to mock draft.
That's the
So I'm
spirit,
ready.
bro.
I'm ready.
Yes, sir. Love the energy, man. We're always ready to mock, like he said. We're ready. 2021 early mock, and it's ridiculously early. I mean, hell, the 2020 season isn't even over with yet. We
Right.
still got the championship games this weekend, plus the Super Bowl a few weeks from now. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna get right into it here. They'll do 2 rounds. This is gonna be 2 rounds. We're gonna go around the deal. I'm gonna have a pick, then Josh will pick, and so on. We're just gonna rotate picks, and then after that, we will preview the championship games, the AFC, NFC championship games. I know I was dead wrong in the divisional round. Maybe I'll get something right this week. So let's get right into it. Hello, what's up, Guru Nation? Anyway, yeah, had a successful year, made the playoffs. Took home 3 titles, so I was really pleased about that. Guru Nation! Alrighty, so we are here today ready to mock 2-round 12-man PPR draft. We're gonna just start it off here. I'll get it going, and I tell y'all what, I really like our next season. I know he let everyone down. I know he didn't come through like we were thinking, but here to start it off, I'm gonna have to go ahead and roll with my man CMC, Christian McCaffrey, first overall, because look, I feel like this. I know he's struggled this year, but it was all due to injury. It wasn't due to a drop off in performance. You know, when he was on the field, he was just as good, if not better. I mean, that Joe Brady offense, and it looks like Joe Brady will be back. I don't think he got hired as a head coach. Not that I've heard he got a lot of interviews, but I think he's gonna have to stay in Carolina. And I think then the year after he'll get hired as a head coach, because by then you'll have a year of McCaffrey and stuff, maybe a new quarterback in Carolina. So yeah, I'm all in with CMC. I'm gonna give him another go at the 1.01.
Yeah, I think in this situation, this is one of those situations where you're perfectly okay with taking a guy that was the first overall running back the year before, even though he had a down season. All right, I'm gonna use the air quotes on that one. His down season, like you said, was only due to injury. It wasn't due to any kind of performance. So it's a different kind of letdown. So you're perfectly fine with taking Christian McCaffrey. I would have taken Christian McCaffrey myself. I'm going to be taking Christian McCaffrey. He's the number one. All right, he's an amazing talent. Now at number 2 here, it's interesting because there's 2 guys that are going to be going back and forth. We think they're going to be flip flopping between 2 and 3 all off season, and that's Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook. And the big question is, who do you go with number 2? Now, I love Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara has won me a couple championships now. He's amazing.
Is it
all right?
Kamara or Kamara? I always thought it was Kamara.
It's probably Kamara, tomato.
Right?
I've been saying Kamara, but I think it is Kamara. So I'll go ahead and start saying Kamara. Anyway, so I love the guy. He's incredible, and I have no problem with anyone taking him at 2. However, me personally, I'm gonna go ahead this year, as of right now, and take Dalvin Cook at number 2.
Oh, all right. I'll
I feel
in for you.
I feel like not only did he show out this year and show how he's just an amazing talent, but I think he's gonna take that next step next year. And I think he's really gonna just, as long as he can stay on the field, this guy is an absolute stud on the ground, through the air. It doesn't matter. He's literally another version of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he can do it all, and that's what I mean by that. He can literally do it all for his team, and he does do it all for his team. And I absolutely love Dalvin Cook. I think he's an absolute stud. So for me personally, I'm going with him at number 2.
For sure, yeah. I just don't. I mean, he is really good. He's an every down back complete player. Just he doesn't have quite the receiving chops of CMC.
Mhm.
or even of who I'm going to take at number 3, Alvin Kamara. So
Right.
I mean, I feel like he is just so good, so strong. No matter who the quarterback is for the Saints, I mean, I think he is going to eat and eat well. It just, I mean, just 'cause he's going to be the focal point of the offense. The Saints paid him good. I mean, Michael Thomas will be back stronger next year, but still, Kamara's going to have plenty to go around for him. Plenty of just scoring opportunities, receptions. The total package. So I mean, yeah, he's a stud, y'all. And for those watching, like wanting to get in on this mock draft thing, we're gonna do this one, just me and Josh. But moving forward, we're gonna get to where the community gets involved. All these spots will be claimed by the community, so y'all stay tuned for that. But I figure it's just so early, we're just getting our feet wet here, and yeah, front three pretty predictable. But here at 4, this is where things could get interesting, Josh. So who you got your eye on
Absolutely.
here?
Absolutely, man. This is actually where it gets a little dicey, and this is kind of where I start thinking, okay, am I actually going to do this when the draft starts? Am I going to take this guy here? As of right now, I'd like to think I will. I may be in the minority with this. I may not be. We'll see what happens. I'm actually going to go with Nick Chubb right here. I think
Ooh,
Nick Chubb.
spicy. Told him I called it. I mean,
I
it's gonna get
think.
spicy right here. See, I got the
Look,
ain't really
I've been a big
good.
Nick Chubb fan since the very beginning, since he got drafted. I thought the guy was an incredible talent. He's been dealing with a little bit of injuries, but man, last year, even though he did also sit out a couple games, man, this guy showed he is a stud. Okay, and I'm just gonna say it right now, if this guy starts catching passes out of the backfield, you might be looking at a running back one on your hands.
Yeah, man.
This
It's
guy
just
is one of he's definitely a top two runner of the football in the league. You can go back and forth with him and Derrick Henry. I mean, he's a man. He's an absolute man on the football field, man. This guy, he's solid as a rock, and he's hard to take down. He's got an incredible stiff arm. I love him, man. Even paired up with Kareem Hunt, who we can all argue is a very good running back in his own right. This guy still was putting up consistent fantasy numbers every single week for you, man. This guy's an absolute stud. I'm perfectly fine with taking him at 4.
yeah, man. It's just with Hunt there, the receptions upside is a little capped. But I mean, hey, this year it wasn't like Hunt just caught everything. I mean, Chubb was
Yeah,
still
he's
someone
catching a
involved in a
couple. I'll take it.
receiving game.
Hmm.
So I mean, give me a full 16 of Nick Chubb, and he could definitely live up to this value. It's just, I mean, with Hunt there, it's a upside's a bit capped, but I mean, hey, I can see it, man. I like the bold strategy, Cotton. I like it. So how about it, man? Let's move it a little our little deals of where they know where we're at. So I'm gonna move mine here since I'm about to pick, and then you can move yours to there. So yeah, yeah. So everyone knows where we're at. So
Okay.
all right. So yeah, Nick Chubb at 4. I like it. I like it. So here at 5, this is tough because I figured you were gonna take either Saquon or Derrick Henry,
Mhm.
and it'd be an easy for me at 5. And now it's kind of tough. I'm kind of torn. And I tell you what, here at pick 5, man, I mean, Derrick Henry is just so rock solid. But I tell y'all what, Saquon, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I would definitely do this because we don't not sure about yet his rehab at the Giants supporting cast, but assuming his rehab goes well, which I think it will because he got hurt in week 2, so he should be back in plenty of time for the regular season. And then assuming the Giants can beef up the O line somewhat, I'm gonna have to just because of his just a super talented runner. But I don't know. I still know Danny Dimes. Ugh, you know what? I'm going with the big bull Derrick Henry here actually, because I just Danny Dimes' name came into my head, and that made I'm running. The Giants' offense with Danny Dimes is not going to be good, and as much as I wanted to take Saquon there, I had to change our this because I feel like his touchdown upside is capped. So I just to me, Henry gets the tiebreaker. I get it. He's led the league in carries the past 2 years, but he is a different breed, y'all. This dude is he is a man. Like he is a bull. Like
All
he
right.
is just I mean,
I
it's just
like it.
ridiculous, man. So I just considering how much better the Titans' offense is, that to me is the edge for Henry. Saquon's probably got a better PPR skill set, but gotta go with King Henry.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can run, and that's fine, but I'll go ahead and stay right where I'm at number 6. I will absolutely take Saquon there all day, every day, because the upside of this guy is just out of this world. Obviously, he had the big injury this year, very unfortunate. We hope for a very speedy recovery. We hope that he comes back better than ever. Will he? We're gonna have to really monitor. He's gonna be one of the most monitored players this offseason. We're gonna have to see how he looks, and I'm hoping that he comes back full force, man. If he does, and if I can get him at the 1-6, Man, I'm taking that all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. This guy is an absolute beast, man. Through the ground, through the air. I love him so much. I still like Danny Dimes too, man. I think Danny Dimes has some growing to
Oh,
do.
you can have that. I've done
Well,
soured
I'm
on
not
Danny
drafting him. I'm just
Dimes.
saying I still like him as a quarterback. I still think he's good. I still think he's got room to grow. Remember, it was only his second year. I'm not going to hold him too much. Now
For sure.
this year we're going to see, but that's a whole nother topic. But anyways, I would absolutely take Saquon right here, 100%. I'm down with that.
Right on, right on. Okay, yep, yeah. That was cool between them. Now I pick seven. True. This is where it gets. This is where
Yeah,
it gets tough,
it
y'all. This
gets
is
a
where
little
it
tough
gets
right here.
tough. Man, I tell y'all what, man. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and just draft the first receiver of the day. Let's
Really?
go with Devontae Adams right here.
Wow. Okay.
You know what you're getting here. He's so consistent, so rock
True.
solid. And it's 1.7. I mean, last year Mike Thomas was usually like 1.4, 1.5. I was like, that's just a little bit too high for me.
Mm.
Where 1.7 to me is a good sweet spot for the first receiver off the board. 7, 8, 9, that range. Like, I'm okay with that, you know? Because, I mean, you could make a case maybe for Zeke, maybe for Jonathan Taylor, maybe even those are really the only two in my book that'd be better than Devontae Adams. And I mean, they both. I mean, Taylor is only his second year. Zeke, I mean, showed a little bit maybe possible decline this year. So I mean, Devontae just like there's not going to be any decline there. Maybe a slight touchdown regression, but we know he's going to get peppered with targets. Lock for well over 1,000 yards. Lock for double-digit touchdowns. So I mean, yeah, just to me, it's just too much of a sure thing to pass up there.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I mean, you know how I feel about running backs. So
Oh yeah, I know you love your running
when it
backs.
comes when
I mean,
it
I do too, but
and
I mean, it's
I
just
love
man, it's just
Devonte Adams.
he's
He's one of
so
my
good.
favorite receivers in the league. But it's going to be to a point. I mean, we saw what happened with people that were drafted Michael Thomas last year.
Right, but it
It's
was
just
here instead of
right,
here.
and so and they got absolutely burned. Not saying you would get
Yeah,
burned for picking Adams here. I'm just saying my mentality is if there's if there gets to a point where there's nobody I feel comfortable with drafting as a running back one, that's when I'll look to draft a wide receiver. Until that point, I'm still going with my running backs because that's what I love to do.
right,
And
right.
so
I'm sure you'll pick one
with
here.
this 1-8, I know you talked about Zeke's regression. Um, sure, but you know I'm gonna give him a cap with the fact that Dak was out pretty much all year last year. Let's not forget that he was the number two running back with Dak for those first few weeks until he got hurt. The guy was showing that he was still a stud. Um, and let's not forget he didn't put up terrible numbers all year with Andy Dalton. He actually put up some pretty solid weeks. So I think I do still have faith in Zeke. I think if Dak comes back fully healthy, I think he's gonna have a pretty solid year next year. I still like him, man. I'm still perfectly fine with taking him here at 1-8 and rolling with what I got. At least one more year. Now, if I see some extra regression this year with Dak on the field, then I'm gonna be looking to fade him next year. But I'm gonna give him the slide. I'm gonna give him the pass that Dak was out all year last year. And again, it's not like he was horrible. He still put up pretty decent, pretty solid numbers. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, man, I can't really argue with it too much. I mean, it's just I feel like he's still a first rounder for next year. You know, he's a lot of people say, "Ah, he's gonna be like a second," but I mean, he still put up okay numbers despite the fact that Dallas was without Dak half the year and the offense just went to shit. I mean, he went down with the ship basically. But I mean, hey, Zeke's still an elite talent. He's still got some gas left in the tank. He's not that old, so I
Right.
mean the regression was more due to the offense around him. I feel like not really due to him. I mean, he did have injuries, but I mean, hell, everyone it seemed like had injuries in 2020. It's coming out guys that had way more injuries than we thought. Like Michael Thomas, for example, the injury was way more serious than we thought. AJ Brown played hurt all year. Drew Brees was battling 4 different injuries at once. I mean, it's just
Yep.
2020 was brutal, y'all. They had guys playing through stuff that we didn't even know about. So Zeke, yeah, I definitely see Zeke bouncing back next year. And at the back end of the first round, it's a solid value. So yeah, man, I can't argue with it too much. At number 9, though, I'm gonna go with the guy that he's getting a lot of hype and rightfully so, and that's Jonathan Taylor. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a torrid stretch on just freaking blitz, blaze, whatever you want to call it,
It
just
was out of him or Zeke with
killed
this
it, man. I
with
mean,
a
yeah, to me, it's gonna be a good debate which one to take, and I'm probably at this point more on the Taylor side. I
mm,
mean, I know he's young, but I mean, he's just got so much upside, so much potential, and I could get him here. He could finish here. Like, he could be right up there with him. So for dynasty, if this was startup dynasty, you can make a case that he should be number 2
oh,
overall.
absolutely.
I mean, he looks like he's got all the
Either
makings.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
Yes.
he could end up
Yeah.
like they're saying like Saquon. Or I think he's the best running back prospect since Saquon. I mean, he's that good. Like
Yeah.
he is really good. Like I mean, I love Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but to me the Chiefs actually made a mistake by drafting him over Jonathan Taylor just because I mean I know they're not a run-heavy offense, which is probably their logic for not drafting Taylor. They probably figured they weren't gonna be able to use him properly, but like. I mean, he's perfect for the Colts. Hopefully, Philip Rivers just retired this week. For those that didn't know, so with Rivers out the door, they'll have an opportunity to bring in potentially a young quarterback, maybe another veteran type to stabilize it, but potentially like a young quarterback that could be a dangerous team for years to come.
Yeah.
And I really like Taylor anchoring the backfield. I think they're gonna let Marlon Mack go and use him as the full-on workhorse, and he'll be a rock solid RB1 with top 5 upside.
I hope so, man, because they need to let him loose and stop with this Naeem Hines every other week getting
Right.
15 touches, man. Stop that.
Yes.
Let this man go
Yeah,
so
because he
he
can
can be.
catch too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let this man let him out the chains, man. Let him
Yeah,
out
let the
the
dog out the
cage so that
kennel.
way
Yep.
he
Yep.
can be a top 5 pick next year, man. Absolutely.
Yes.
Um, so at my number 10 here, I know I just talked about running backs, right?
Right.
But now it's at the point where I'm kind of iffy on
Yeah,
the
we've
rest of
got
these
was it
guys.
8 running backs off the board
Right.
already?
This is kind of at the point where I'm kind of iffy about these running backs that are left over as being my running back one. Where instead of maybe reaching on one right here, I feel comfortable with the fact that when I would come back to my 2-3 pick, where I would get one of these running backs anyway, and I'd be able to have him as number one. So if I'm going to have him as number one, I'd rather have a stud wide receiver to back him up with, and I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill, man.
All right, the cheetah.
Tyreek Hill every year has been getting more and more consistent as a route runner. He's been getting more and more consistent as just a not just a big play guy, but as just an overall just he runs every route in the tree now, and Mahomes gets him the ball all over the field. It's not just 50-yard bombs. He's getting him the ball everywhere. I mean, and I always said if Tyreek Hill were to get to the point where he was catching the ball all over the field, he's an absolute stud. And that's where he's at now, man. And I feel like he takes another step forward next year, becomes even more consistent. And I mean, this guy could absolutely be the wide receiver one next year. He 100% could be. In fact, if I had to make a prediction right now, I think Tyreek Hill will be the number one wide receiver by the end of next year. So I'm perfectly fine with taking him at the 10 right here, knowing that I'll be able to get one of those running backs back on the flop or on the turn.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, yeah, Tyreek's right now my WR2. I mean, he is amazingly explosive. You know, he is still a little inconsistent, but he's gotten better with that for sure. And his blow up games a lot of times can win you a week. I just hope, if I'm taking it, he's still a little leery about taking him first because even though he is slightly more consistent, he's still though even when he has kind of an off week, it's not just like 4 for 50, nothing special. Or a guy like Devontae, like his off week's like 6 for 80. Like it's just like, but I mean, he was picked higher, running rightfully so yeah, nothing wrong with Tyreek as the second picked receiver, and with the running back pool thin and out, I can't argue with it.
Right.
Just the other thing is though, he has to share targets with the man. I'm about to pick here at 111, Travis Kelce.
Wow.
I'm going with tight end first round here, Travis Kelce.
Well,
Because I tell y'all
I
what,
think they've both shown that they don't mind sharing targets with each other.
right? Yeah, there's
They
enough to
both get
go
peppered with
around. Yeah,
both
with
get
Sammy
peppered.
Watkins will be out the
Yeah,
door. I
it's
mean,
just those two now, and then it's everybody else
yeah,
with
pretty
the
much.
receivers
Yeah, I
there.
mean these two. To me, they should both be first rounders. Back in, but I mean they're both just so good, so solid.
Well, I'm not gonna pick Travis Kelce's first round, but I understand Blush, but I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, I got you. Good.
Okay, well, I'll make my case as to why he should be
Yeah.
first round. Forget that he's a tight end for a second. I know you hate tight ends, but if he was a wide receiver, to me, he would be arguably the second wide receiver. I mean, he'll be a debate between him and Tyreek Hill. I mean, you could maybe make a case that Stephon Diggs or Michael Thomas should be ahead of him, but I mean, look, Michael Thomas had a really off year this year. I think he'll bounce back in a big way, but how big though? It'll be a new quarterback, and then Diggs had a pinnacle year. I think he'll be due for a slight regression. Where Kelce and Hill are just like so good. I mean, so good year after year after year. I would literally feel like if Kelce had that WR next to his name, he would be getting drafted here. I'm not I don't feel like I'm reaching on him just because he's a tight end. And to me, the fact that he's a tight end was an added bonus because by drafting him, he gets such a big positional advantage. I mean, because the majority of the tight end crop is absolute doo doo. So, I mean, if you can get Kelsey, I mean, that's a huge leg up on your opponent each week at that tight end spot.
So the only reason why I don't like this is because yes, you might get a big positional advantage on tight end and a big leg up there, but now your opponents are going to get a big leg up on you when it comes to the running back position and possibly the wide receiver position because when you pick a tight end this early, in my opinion, you're handicapping yourself when it comes to your other skill positions. And I just, as much as I love Travis Kelsey, there's no way I can bring myself to drafting him in the first round. I'm not gonna hate on nobody for doing it. I get it. He's a wide receiver. Let's just call it for what it is. He
Yeah.
puts up wide receiver numbers.
Yeah, elite
Right?
WR1 at
Absolutely, man.
that.
He's an absolute stud. You know what you're gonna get from him every week. I can't put my team in that much of a handicap because now I'm basically hoping that I get lucky and hit on some players later on in the draft, and
hmm
I kind of don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, my argument would be about that. Like, it'd probably be easier in a way to hit on a skill player than it is like a tight end because the tight ends a lot of times are just such trash. Or like sometimes you can get like a late round gem, like a James Robinson or a Justin Jefferson type thing.
Right.
And I mean, shoot, I'd rather have Kelsey and Jefferson than Tyreek and a Buns tight end, you know, like yeah. I mean, it's obviously it is somewhat risky, like you said, because I mean, yeah, because if you, I mean, your opponent might have the crap tight end, but then you're like, man, I'm having this constantly scrounge for running backs, receivers, or that flex spot type thing. But
Right.
I mean, I feel like if you play your cards right in the late rounds, this strategy could really pay off.
Okay. Hey, look, to each its own on that one. And like I said before, I won't be doing it, but I won't really hate on nobody for doing it. And you did mention my next pick with what you were saying right there. A guy that came onto the scene literally out of absolutely nowhere this year, and that's James Robinson out of
Ooh, that's who you
Jacksonville
going with it?
Jaguars. That's who I would go with
Okay,
right here at the
okay.
112. He is a guy that, yes, he was a top five running back this year. Let's call it what it is. Will he be a top five running back next year? Probably not. Let's kind of pump the brakes on it a little bit and let's temper our expectations. I hope he is, man. He seems like a good kid, man, and he's a hard runner. I will say that this guy is a good hard runner. I really like watching him play. He's gonna have Trevor Lawrence back there with him instead of Minshew Mania, so maybe that'll help even tick up his pass catching a little bit. I'm hoping.
hmm
And if that were to happen, and he gives you that same impact on the ground as he did this year, he's gonna give you probably top seven, top eight running back value at this pick right here. So if I was picking at the 112, I'd be perfectly fine with starting my team right here, having this back to back pick and taking a risk. I don't even know if I'd call it much of a risk, but I mean,
Yeah, it
it
is
kind
kind
of
of a
is,
risk
yeah,
because
because
we're gonna have to see what they do with the backfield. I mean,
right,
Urban Meyer is the new Jags coach, never coached in the NFL. I mean, we
right,
all know a famous college coach with Florida and Ohio State, but we don't know what kind of system he's gonna bring, what
right.
he's gonna bring in there. Like, is he gonna want to lean on J. Rob as a workhorse, or will it end up in an ugly committee? Hopefully, he'll keep him as a workhorse. But I mean, I don't think I'd have taken him that high at this point because we don't know what exactly Herb's gonna
I'm gonna hope
come
he
up
did.
with.
I'm gonna hope he did his homework and watch some game film on this kid. Now I think he's
Yeah,
gonna,
because
and
the
I think
kid
he's
was efficient. Like, yeah, he
yeah,
got a lot of volume, probably more than he should have as a rookie, but he was efficient
yeah,
with it. Like, I
very
mean, the
efficient.
Jags were tanking, so they just kind of like, screw it, we're just gonna run him wild, let him lose. But he did well. I gotta say,
Yeah.
he was an efficient runner. He caught passes in an efficient clip. It wasn't his fault that the Jags were 1-15.
And honestly, with what's left, I'm perfectly fine with taking his upside over some of the upside of some of the guys that are left on this board as my RB1.
I gotcha. Okay, so who you gonna pair with him?
Do you want me to take this
Yeah,
option?
yeah. Let's just
Okay.
so we each have like this two
Okay.
guys from
So
each
so
team
if
type
if
thing.
if I was picking here, it would be James Robinson, and this is where it's kind of tough because I got two guys I'm looking at. I'm looking at Joe Mixon. I'm looking at Aaron Jones. Now,
hmm
Joe Mixon coming off of the IR and coming off really a kind of underwhelming season last year. He had a couple good games, but man, we were expecting a lot more from him. But we're gonna have Joe Burrow back next year. Joe Mixon's gonna be healthy. I have to think that he's gonna come back and give us really good value. And the kid is so talented that if he hits, he's gonna hit hard. He's so good. But would I want to take the risk
Yeah,
here
that'd be kind of a dice roll considering all the
when I'm
injuries he's
already
had.
taking a risk with James Robinson? Probably not. And because of that, man, this one's so tough.
I know you love your running back, but they got some pretty good receivers
No, they
sitting
do.
here.
They do. But I'm so. Oh man, this one's so hard. I'm sorry, guys. It is because
Tick
I
tock,
so
tick.
want to go. I so want to go double running back here. But actually, I'm gonna turn a little bit. I'm gonna go DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, Nuclear
because
Hopkins.
because
Wow. Okay.
D
Okay.
Hop and Kyler Murray showed so much chemistry this year, and even though he did have a couple down games, which I don't like to see, I think their chemistry is going to keep getting better. It's going to keep getting better, and especially during this off season, man, when they're going to have a lot of time to work together. Man, look, if those two really start clicking consistently next year, man, watch out.
Yeah, for sure, man. Can't argue with that. I mean, I personally would have maybe gone with a different receiver there, but I mean, yeah, they've got room to grow. I mean, it was only their first year together,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a good point, and they did show really good
With
chemistry.
no OTAs, no camp, no
Right,
nothing. That's
exactly. Yeah, they kind of crumbled down the stretch, but I mean, Kyler was playing hurt. Another one we were saying about guys playing hurt earlier. You could add Kyler to that list. He was playing hurt in the second
right.
half. So I mean, yeah, healthy Kyler and Hopkins, yeah, that's lethal. Definitely worth a pick in the early part of the second round, I'd say. And so, man, 2.2. Wow, this is tough, man, because like I'm tempted to just go zero RB here. I hate to start off with zero RB. But I mean, hey, I'm already going bold with Kelsey, so I might as well just go really radical and just go. I'm gonna go with Stephon Diggs right here, man. Just
I
Kelsey
can't
and
blame you.
Diggs were just so
Can't blame you.
freaking solid all year. You knew what you were getting with these two. I mean, this is just literally like they were. I think they were the two leaders in receiving yards this year. I think the Devontae missed a couple games, so I'm pretty sure it was Diggs was the number one, and I think Kelsey was number two. I mean, these
I think
two.
you might be right. In fact, I think Kelsey might have been one, if
Well,
I'm not
he missed
mistaken.
the week 16 or
Okay,
17,
okay,
the last
I
week because
got
the
you.
Chiefs had everything clinched. That allowed Diggs to take the receiving title. But yeah, I mean, these two, it's just like, I mean, to me, Diggs, like, I know he's normally not up here, but I mean, he showed with Josh Allen, he should be up here. Like, he is that good with Allen in the Bills offense. He's normally last year going around here 4 or 5, ended up being an amazing value. So I mean, yeah, he's. I mean, I'll just screw it. I'm gonna go zero RB here with Kelsey and Diggs. I feel like it's just considering like all these are going, like there's just not really any that I'm like that wanting to snag here. I mean, I'm sure some of the names will grow on me. Like you had mentioned, like Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, maybe even guys like Austin Eckler, David Montgomery might
Hmm.
grow on me some more. But like as of now, shoot, give me Diggs, man. He is. You know what you're getting
Yeah, so I'm definitely not going zero RB
there.
ever.
Right? Running back truth.
So like I said earlier, I picked Tyreek Hill where I picked him because I knew that I would have some good options here for my RB1 while now having a studded wide receiver. So if I were running this team right here, I would go with Aaron Jones.
All right.
Aaron Jones still showed this year this guy is still elite. He's still amazing, and he's still the RB1 in Green Bay, and that ain't changing no time soon. It ain't changing for no damn AJ Dillon.
Well, he's a
All
free
right.
agent though.
Right, but I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna resign him. I think he'll be perfectly fine there. Now, if they don't resign him, then sure, we'll have to see where he goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna resign. I think they're gonna get a deal done. I just can't see them let go of Aaron Jones. The guy is too good, and so I'm gonna pick it right now as if he's staying in Green Bay. And if he's staying in Green Bay, this is where I would pick him. If he
Yeah, for
doesn't,
sure.
then we'll see where he goes and we'll temper that. But picking Tyreek Hill there with that one what is that 1.9, 1.10. I want a little bit more solid, a little bit more consistency from our running back. So I'm gonna go with Aaron Jones.
For sure, man. Yeah, can't really argue with it if he would resign in Green Bay. However, I'm not so sure he will. I'm in the thinking that they might go and bring back Jamal Williams
Oof.
and go with Jamal Williams
Uh,
and AJ Dillon as like a thunder and lightning punch. Because I have
I
a
hope
feeling
not.
Jones, somebody might pony up and pay Jones big money, and we all know Green Bay's not the kind of team that breaks the bank for free agents. They do things real like just kind of low key over there, and I think that's why they're so successful is because they don't break the bank unless it's somebody like Aaron Rodgers. I mean you can't let him go, but I mean like somebody like Jones though. If they bring him back, then cool. If they do, I think he should probably be picked right around here actually. But that's why I didn't take him, just because I think I'm under the assumption he walks, But
Okay,
I mean, we'll see though. It'll
we'll
be
see.
interesting, yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's just for fun,
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
it's so early, But it's always good to get
this is gonna
the
change so
speculation going.
much.
Right? Oh yeah, definitely. We'll look back at this and be like, what the hell? It's gonna be wild, but that's just the fun of it, man. So yeah, 2.4 now. Wow, this is tough, man. They got so many names that could be picked here. So many potential running backs. Like, I've been a sucker for receivers lately. I'm gonna keep it going here. I'm gonna go with can't guard Mike, baby. Michael Thomas. Give me money, man. I love Mike here. I mean, he played with a freaking torn deltoid all year. I know he missed a lot of time. I mean, hell, his freaking ankle was about to freaking like rip off the bone or some crap. I mean, that is just brutal what he played through. And I mean, I think that kind of explains why he probably should have just shut it down. I mean, but he's such a warrior. He came back for the playoffs. I actually did okay in the first round, Second round got totally locked down, but I mean, it's like I know he got roasted on Twitter and all that because he's a big talker. But I mean, hey, you gotta give the man some credit for even being out there. A lot of guys would have just said screw it and gone home. I mean, but he busted his ass to get back out there, and I think with whoever the new quarterback is, like it will be. I mean, Breeze. I mean, Breeze was also hurt. It was a hurt guy throwing to another hurt guy. So it's like, what do you expect? It's not going to be very pretty. But I think with hopefully Taysom Hill, fingers crossed that it's Taysom Hill and not Jameis, because Taysom Hill really showed good chemistry with Michael Thomas. And that little bit Jameis Winston played, I know it was only like a half, but like him and Thomas were just completely off. They were not on the same page whatsoever. So I know a lot of people are gonna be like Jameis, but I'm not. I'd much rather Taysom Hill. I think if it's Taysom Hill, Mike Thomas will be just fine and could easily get back to being a top 2 to 3 wide receiver, being worth a first round pick.
So that might be a discussion for a different day. We're gonna have to agree or disagree. I would absolutely take Jameis over Taysom. I've seen everything I need to see from Taysom. I love the guy, but that man is
He's got
not
room
no
for growth.
that man is not no starting quarterback in this league.
Oh
Anyway, so
man, he
that's like
gets
I
so
said.
much
That's
hate, man.
like I said.
I'm in the minority with Taysom, but
Well,
I've been and he's kept proving me right. So I'm gonna keep
well,
riding the wave and hope he continues to prove me right. But yeah, we could do a whole episode on the Saints.
that's a whole another discussion for another day. So anyway, so
Right.
right here with 2.5, we already have Zeke starting off this squad, which again, I believe with Dak, Zeke's going to be a very consistent running back next year. So I'm gonna be able to go for a guy right here that's going to give me some pretty high up weeks and then some maybe kind of he had some kind of low weeks, but not really. Man, this guy was really good when he was on the field. I'm going with Austin Eckler right here.
Ooh, I like it. I was thinking
And
about him with my next pick.
and so with these two guys, man, you start off with these two guys, and when they both hit, man, you're pretty much gonna probably win your week, man.
Yeah, that's a good
These
duo
guys are both
there.
studs, and I really love Austin Eckler, man. He gets so much hate as if he's not a really good RB1 just because he hasn't rushed the ball for 100 yards a game. This guy gets so many catches out of the backfield. It's amazing to watch. I love watching this guy play. So I would be perfectly fine with starting off with Zeke and Austin Eckler right here.
Right on, yeah. It's just he is being that he's not a conventional big back. I think that
Right.
kind of makes him a little bit more injury prone, being that he has to carry such a heavy load as a small back. But I mean,
But then you
when
look at the
healthy,
first
he's
round. Look how
freaking
many of these
strong.
guys. Look how many of these conventional running backs are missing time with injury. You know what I'm
Exactly. Yeah, I mean
saying? So
CMC was victim of that this
yeah.
year, and hell, I took him first year. So I mean,
Right.
I think he was probably a little more built for that than Eckler. But I mean, hey, Eckler though could end up being an amazing value here in the second round. I mean, hey, you could make an argument that he should still be worth getting picked here, which I mean he might.
Hmm.
I mean
He
his
might
hype
by the
train might
time. Yeah.
pick back up. But I mean, being at the Chargers, they're kind of low key, the new coach and stuff. Yeah, Herbert's there, but not a whole lot else. I mean, Keenan Allen, but I mean, outside of that, there's not much there. So yeah, Eckler could really thrive this year and end up being a great value in round 2.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, gotta go with a running back here. Not gonna get too radical with the receiver, so I'm gonna grab here. This is a guy that a lot of people to me are sleeping on, and I don't know why. I mean, he had such a strong stretch run. We talked about him before the show, and that's David Montgomery. I mean, he finishes a top 5 running back this year. I get it. He's on the crappy Bears offense, but I mean, the Bears might actually be better next year, considering that hopefully Mitchell Trubisky will be showing the door. And if so, I mean, I don't see why. I mean, Montgomery was amazing down the stretch with Goofball as the quarterback. So I mean, it's like, y'all, what are y'all sleeping on? I mean, Montgomery, I feel like I know Tariq Cohen will be back, so that does temper his receiving upside a tad. But I mean, he caught like 50 something balls. I mean, even if he only catches 40 something, I still feel like with his right, considering he's one of the few guys that's trusted to be a full bell cow. He was able to stay healthy during this pandemic season. I mean, hey, I feel like he's somebody. Give him money in the second round it is all day, every day. Like he's somebody that's just. I feel like he's very solid, very consistent, and doesn't get enough respect in the fantasy community.
No, I agree, and I remember watching his very first carry and thinking, man, this guy has got a lot of talent. Like literally, you could just tell from the first time he touched the ball, he has a ton of talent. The problem is they still have Matt Nagy, and Matt Nagy sucks.
Yeah, they should have fired him. I know they made the
And
playoffs, but it's like I mean,
yeah,
he's basically the Marvin Lewis.
and
Today's Marvin Lewis. He's
for some
not a good
reason, when
coach.
Tariq Cohen is on the field, Matt Nagy just gives so many touches to Tariq Cohen and just leaves Dave Montgomery on the
Yeah,
bench.
kind of like the
So
Colts did this year with Hines, where hopefully they
yeah,
don't do that to Taylor. I almost did the Taylor Monty duo, but I was like, I don't know
yeah.
if I want to do that. That'd be
Right.
frustrating.
So I am a little worried about that, but if that doesn't happen, then getting Dave Montgomery right here is great value. I love it. So with this next pick, we have Saquon right here already with this team with the 1.6. So that's already going to be a risk enough, right? We got a high risk, high reward possibility here. So I don't want to go too risky with the second pick either. So I'm gonna go with a guy that I know is going to get carries. I know he's going to get, for the most part, some goal line carries and everything. He did have a down year this year from what he was drafted last year. A lot of people reached for him, but I'm hoping for a bounce back year, and that's Josh Jacobs.
There you go. Yeah, I was kind of considering there at the
I
two
think
six.
I
He
think
would have been if Monty would have gone, he would have been my
I think
backup
I
plan.
think with the running backs that are left right here, he kind of to me
Yeah,
gives
that's
off the
him and
lowest.
Saquon. I like
Right.
that.
He kind of to me gives off the lowest amount of risk right here. You kind of know what you're going to get from him. You're not really too worried about injury risk and anything like that. You know this guy's going to get carries. He's going to get goal line carries. He does get snakes sometimes with the goal line. That is a worry. He doesn't really catch balls out the backfield. That's a worry. Um, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but he is a very good talent. So I'm kind of hoping that he takes another step forward this year.
For sure, man. Yeah, that's just the only thing that's a little concerning for me is he's off the field. He's had some antics, especially with a potential suspension. He got a DUI type
Mm-hmm.
thing, but nothing too crazy. I mean,
Right.
that might be a one game deal. Which, I mean, he'll be fine. It's just it might actually be a positive for him. It might be a sign like, look, man, I gotta wake up. Like I got, hopefully it'll be a sign that he'll get back on track and have hopefully a really strong off season to where he can really make that third year leap because I mean, he did okay this year, but from an efficiency standpoint, his numbers were down. Because I mean, he
Right.
played
He
all
was.
16, but I mean, his yards per carry dropped. He didn't really do that much better as a receiver. So it's just like hopefully this will be the year he can really break out, and if so, he'll be an amazing value here. Because I feel like myself included set the bar a little bit too high for him, taking him like around like this like 7, 8 in the first round and he didn't really live up to that. Where now next year you get him at a reduced rate, and yeah, 2.7, he could end up being a bargain. Kind
Right.
of like Eckler. I feel like him and Eckler are similar in that last year they were getting drafted here like the end of the first, where like it may have been a bit too high. Where now if they kind of slide in here in the middle of the second, they could end up like I said being bargains.
Yep.
So, all right, here 1-5. Oh Lord, am I not keeping up here? Yeah, I need to hit my
No, you're
deal
good.
on there. Yeah, you already jumped ahead, so yeah, I gotta go here. Let's see. All right, so we got Henry at the 1-5. Man, do we go running back, or go with another wide receiver? Man, this is interesting, man. I tell you what. Man, I think we go with Thunder and Lightning here, man. We got our Thunder and Henry. Let's go with our Lightning. CEH baby, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Because I feel like this, he didn't have a great rookie year this year. The Chiefs are pass first offense, but I feel like next year, Lev Bell will be showing the door, and I think they're gonna let Clyde go, let him loose, and I think he'll have a really nice year. He's not gonna be like a true workhorse. I don't feel like he won't be worth. He was getting drafted way too high last year, but he's another one, in that same boat of Jacobs and Eckler. Could be a post type breakout candidate, kind of like the way Monty was this year. Monty got all the hype as a rookie, didn't live up to it, then had a big second year. Clyde might be a repeat of that.
It's very possible. Yeah, as long as they're not splitting carries with him and Lev Bell,
Oh yeah,
he should
Bell will be
he
gone.
should be
Bell's terrible.
fine. Yep.
Damian Williams will be. Damian
Damian
Williams
Williams
will
will
be
be back,
back.
and
So
Damian Williams is very good. Don't forget about that. That guy is very good. So
I
that
don't
you
know,
know
I'd
that
say
that
very good, but
that
he could be a
that cat's
thorn in
good.
Clyde's side. But
That
I
cat's
mean,
good. I really like that. I've always liked Damian Williams, but hey, personal preference on that one. But yeah, no, I don't mind Clyde right here. It's good value. It's better value than what you were getting for him last year.
oh yeah.
So as long as he's getting enough carries, enough targets, yeah, that should be very good value right there. So with this next pick, we started off with Nick Chubb at 1-4. There's still some good solid running back value right here. I was looking at the wide receivers because this is the point where I'm perfectly fine with these studs at running back where I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what are my wide receiver options? But there's really nothing right here that I want to jump at just yet because there is another running back that I would love to pair with Nick Chubb, and that's Chris Carson. Chris
Ooh,
Carson,
Chris
Chris
Carson,
Carson
man.
showed this year, man. This
I don't know
guy,
about that
this
one, but
guy
make
is
your case.
he's really good, man. Look, he produces when he's on the field. Now, granted, could he get more touchdowns? Yes, but let's be honest, that whole offense as a whole took a step back
Oh,
in the second
that
half of the season,
collapsed, man. They
right?
collapsed.
And so, right, so I'm not gonna put that solely on Chris Carson. Chris Carson's still a very good running back. And so yeah, I mean, getting him at 2.9 to pair him up with Nick Chubb, where Nick Chubb, I know the kind of value that I'm getting from him. I know I'm getting 20 plus points from most weeks from Nick Chubb. I'm perfectly fine with the ups and downs of Chris Carson. Chris Carson will still give me 20 points any given week, and pairing that up with Nick Chubb, I'm perfectly fine with that. I like his upside more than pretty much anybody else on the list right here when it comes to running back, so I'm perfectly fine with taking him right there.
Yeah, it's just he's another one though, like we mentioned about Jones or Carson's not a free agent, man. He's a free agent. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I would think he'd end up back in Seattle just because I don't really see where else he would go. I mean,
Right.
he's familiar with the system. He's a Pete Carroll guy, but it's just, man, I'm worried about that Seattle offense, and especially, man, if they bring in crazy eyes as their OC, Adam Gase, it's like, can I really trust that? I mean, it's like, oh
Probably
man.
not,
Exactly, yeah. So it's just like I don't know, man. And
but we'll see.
Carson just seemed like he's banged up every year. I mean, I think he could, if assuming he re-signs with Seattle, be a good value around the round 3 type thing. But round 2, man, yeah, you must really love you some Chris Carson because
I
I
do.
couldn't pull the trigger there.
I mean, we'll see what some of those rookies from last year will be looking like by the time the real drafts come. Because I mean, guys like DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, that the hype might jump to where they end up jumping over a guy like Chris Carson. But if I was picking right now, yeah, I'd probably be perfectly fine with taking a Chris Carson right here.
I got you. All right, here. So yeah, let's see. We had a big running back run going. Do I keep that going? I'm tempted to because I know if I don't take him here, you're gonna take him next. You know what? So I think I'm gonna just have to do it, man. I know you're gonna probably be kicking yourself that you didn't take him earlier because you mentioned him way back here as
Mm-hmm.
Joe Mixon, man.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
was
like
gonna
he's
take
just
him
too
next.
good to pass up here at the
Well,
210.
I'll be honest. Every because of the way we're doing this, every person I looked at, I was like, man, I don't want to put a risk with a risk or a risk with a risk, and I just didn't. Every time it was my pick, the person on top of him kind of had a risk to him,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to pair up Joe Mixon with a risk. But at this part right here, where like I said, you have these studs, absolutely, he was going to be my next pick. I'm perfectly fine with taking a risk right here because you have such a stud ahead of you, with your RB1 already. So yeah, I would have picked him next, but good
I
pick.
got you. Yeah, it's because like he just with Burrow back. I mean, it's looking good for Burrow. I mean, there's some other reports saying he should be back next year to start the season, which would be amazing. And then Mixon, I mean, as a result, should do fairly well. Hopefully, Mixon himself can stay healthy,
Right.
But I mean, yeah, he's somebody. He's another. He's again. This is a theme. It's gonna be a theme we touch on. Guys post hype. Mixon was another one. He was getting all the hype. Mixon, Clyde, Jacobs, Eckler, guys that were getting first round hype that have now the hype's calmed down, so now they're actually good values here at the back end of the second. So yeah, man, this will be your last
Yep, this
pick
will
of
be my last
the
one.
day. Who you got?
So people might kill me for this one. That's fine. I ain't scared to die. But
Yeah, man, you gotta come at him with some heat,
But
man.
here's the deal, man. I'm looking at the running backs right now. I'm not really crazy about what I'm seeing. Not crazy enough to want to take somebody here. I'm actually, since I have Dalvin Cook, I know Dalvin Cook is a monster. I'm perfectly fine with my running, especially now that I know in 3 picks later I'm going to be able to get a running back. I'll be able to get my RB2. I want to solidify my wide receiver one right here. And there's a guy right here that had a very good year this year, and I think he's gonna take an even bigger step next year with Brady, and that's Mike Evans.
Oh,
I
Mike
thought I
Evans.
thought Mike
Mike
Evans was
Evans.
I thought Mike Evans was just
Love you
gonna
some
be
Mike Evans. You mentioned that on last podcast how
right.
much you
I
like
thought
Mike
I
Evans.
thought he was just gonna be the red zone guy for Brady, but man, he was so much more this year, man. This
Yeah,
guy,
especially in the second half. He started off as just kind of like the red zone guy, but
right?
it seemed like in the second half they really got a good
No,
connection
now
going.
don't get me wrong. There were some games where he had one catch, two catch. Games
Right,
like
that was
that.
all
That worries
early
me.
though.
That
Yeah.
worries me. But like you said, second half of the year, him and Brady got it going, and now they're gonna have a whole off season together.
Yep, and Godwin might walk, AB might
Right.
walk, Evans might end up being a peppered with targets.
Right, and if he is, and you're starting off with Dalvin Cook and Mike Evans, man, you're
Yeah,
starting
that's
off pretty. That's all I'm gonna say.
pretty good.
Yep.
For all those that watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, y'all heard that little saying a lot. But yeah, we have the cabin over here 212. Yeah, Evans could definitely hit there. He is getting a little up in age though, so I don't know if I could have quite put it here. I'm gonna cap it off with a receiver here and go with the one that I personally would have taken there, and that's Calvin Ridley. I would have gone Ridley there just because I feel like Ridley, Julio's sitting there, but I feel like Julio, he's gonna be another year older, getting pushing 30. I think might be over 30 now. I mean, it's Ridley's deal now. It's
Hmm.
Ridley's team as far as being the number one receiver. He proved himself last year. He showed he was a true number one receiver. And I mean, the quarterback situation's a little up in the air. It's a new head coach with Arthur Smith. Not sure if he's going to want to keep or trade Matt Ryan, but assuming he keeps Matt Ryan, I mean, Ridley actually could end up being like a mid-second rounder for
Right.
sure. And I mean, at this point, he's a great value, I'd say. But if it's like a rookie quarterback, they just completely start from scratch, then he'll probably be going here like the late second, well, probably more in the third. But we'll just have to see. I feel like at this point, though, him and CMC, I'm very happy with that duo for this little
Yeah,
team.
I figured you were gonna pick him. It was out of Mike Evans or him right there.
Yeah.
For me, like you said, the quarterback situation's up in the air, and really, this is the difference between me picking Mike Evans and Calvin. Really, was the quarterback situation's up in the air, and you kind of have to expect a little bit of regression next year. He had such a monster year this year that there's almost no way he's going to be able to replicate it next year. He might, but especially if Matt Ryan doesn't come back, I don't see it happening, and it just kind of scares me. I feel like he could be one of those players next year that we all kind of overdraft on him, and we kind of see the numbers dip a little bit, and then next year we'll be able to get him at a better price. I kind of just have a feeling that he might be one of those players this year, but I'll probably
Yeah,
be
if he
one
would
of
get
those.
picked here, I'd be like, ooh, that's a
Right.
little risky.
I
But
may
here, I'm good with it.
I may be one of those players that overpicks on him also. We'll see.
Right?
So yeah, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Like you said with Christian McCaffrey, you know what you're getting. So I like it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm glad to have these two as my keepers in our little keeper league, our dynasty league. Because having these two, whew, I love
I
that.
bet you do.
Yeah, that's a great. And Josh Allen as quarterback. Let's get it.
Very nice.
Let's get it. We have to go after that trophy like we teased us with last week.
You can come. You can try.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Y'all better watch out, man. Guru Nation takeover, man. We won 3 last year. We gonna win even more this year. So well, we hope. So, yeah, we all know fantasy can be a cruel animal at times, but it can also be a friendly, fun deal. So yeah, we'll see here. Oh yeah, let's go over this. I know some of y'all be wanting to maybe screenshot this or whatever. I know it's really early, but I know some of you degenerates like us out there like to get on it early and often. So let's recap it here. So we saw, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Adams, Ezekiel Elliott, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, James Robinson, and then that was our first round. Our second round was started off with DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Jones, Michael Thomas, Austin Eckler, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chris Carson, Joe Mixon, Mike Evans, and Calvin Ridley.
I like it.
Yep. I'm good with it, man. I'm good with it. It's be interesting. I'm sure it'll be completely different next month,
Absolutely.
but hey, you gotta get
Absolutely.
started at some point.
Wait
I
till
feel
the end
like.
of summer. Ooh,
Oh
Lord.
yeah, they're early, not late, like they say. So yeah, we So now let's move on now to our playoff picks, and all right, here y'all go. Fine, roast me. I missed a lot last week in a big way, and some of y'all can say yeah, it's because of my black and gold glasses. But listen, I try to be objective as possible, and I'm being fair when I say this. If the Saints don't turn the ball over 4 times, I feel like we're in
Yeah.
this spot.
If we
We're
have
in
a
this
healthy Drew
spot,
Brees
man.
and we don't turn the ball over, yeah, we probably would have won that game. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean
Congrats
it's
to the Bucks. They did their thing.
Yep, yeah, let's see. Well, I was actually gonna anyway. Next on this, I can't seem to get this to work, but oh, here we go. The NFC for down here because we've got the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship here. So yeah, I mean, I'll just say yeah with the Saints. I mean, even though I mean now that they're out, it's easy now. They can take the black and gold glasses off and kind of reflect on things. And yeah, I feel like this. Even if which I feel like we should have beat Tampa. I don't think we'd have won this week though. I really don't. I mean, it's just being real. Like, I mean, I just with the way Breeze's arm and just his playing hurt. Like, I really
Yeah.
don't think he could have kept up with Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau. I feel like if you'd have predicted that, then I mean, anyone would have said you had some serious black and gold blindfolds on because it's like, I mean, the way Rodgers is playing right now, I think they're gonna go in and crush Tampa Bay. I think they're gonna win by double digits, assuming they don't turn the ball over. Of course,
Right,
that's
right.
the key with all this. Don't turn the football over. So as long as they don't turn the football over, Aaron Rodgers should easily be marching on to a second Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I agree. I picked Green Bay in the beginning to go to represent the NFC, and I'm sticking with it. Um, Obviously, betting against Brady is never really the smart thing to do, but
It's bigger than Brady, though. I
right,
mean,
I
the
feel
team is
like,
just the Packers are just to me the superior
and
team.
it seems like everything is going right for the Packers this year. It
Right.
just
Yeah.
seems like
It's
it's
just
their year,
Rodgers' year. Yeah. He's just having ever. He's only had
and
really one off game, and that was though it was against Brady and the Bucks.
and
So
and and what I was
that
about
could
to say
be the X
was,
factor. But
and
I just
and that's what I was about to say. To be fair, if there was a team that was going to knock them off of this high horse they're on, it would be
right. It would
Brady
be Brady
and the
and the
Bucks.
Bucks. Yep. That's a good point.
I
So it could
think
be closer than I'm thinking, but
I
they're so strong.
I think if Tampa can get it to be a shootout, I do think they have a chance of, because Green Bay's defense is really not that good either. Now the thing is, I do think the Bucks defense came out super motivated last week to beat us. Obviously, we beat them twice,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
whatever.
Embarrassed them the
Devin
second
White
time.
came
Even.
out
Yeah.
back to Louisiana. He was ready to go, and he showed out in a huge way. I
Hmm.
don't know if they're going to be that enthusiastic this weekend. I mean, obviously they're playing with Brady, so Brady brings a lot of motivation with him wherever he goes. So it's possible. But I also have Green Bay winning. I don't know if I have them winning big, but I have them winning by at least a touchdown. So I'm with you there.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I actually kind of like that. Yeah, make it a little closer. I mean, I think assuming it's everything straight as far as the turnovers, I think Green Bay wins easy. But I mean, yeah, I still do. Yeah, Tampa Bay's defense is opportunistic, so if they could rattle Rodgers early and often, they could definitely do it. This ain't a lock by any
Yeah.
means, but I feel pretty
It's
good
hard for
though.
me to think Brady will allow anyone to crush him.
Right. It's just I
That's
feel
just kind
like
of where
though
I'm
at
at
this
there.
point it's just like I mean Brady's still strong, but he's not quite as like important as he used to be. I mean, because he's in his 40s. Like, I mean, I know he's still a huge part of things there, but it's like I don't know. I feel like there's some people gonna drool over Brady a little bit too much because I feel like if it wasn't for all the turnovers, Brady would be sitting on the couch this week.
Right. I feel you. I feel you.
But anyway, yeah, that's kind of I thought it may be a little sour grapes, but I mean, I'll actually I'm no Rodgers fan, but I'll definitely be rooting for Green Bay to crush little Brady's face and have Tampa Bay just be out of there. But
I'm gonna be going for Tampa.
what?
Yeah.
Come on, as a Saints fan?
Yeah, I mean, look at the way Brady and Breeze were with each other after the game, and Brady was throwing to his kid. Man, Brady's a good guy. And then they have Devin White on their team. Man, look, I'm going Tampa all the way. I'm picking Green Bay, but I'm gonna be rooting for Tampa because Aaron Rodgers can. Man, I don't care to see Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. I could care less. All right.
Yeah, I can see your point because I mean, as much as we get on Brady for being arrogant, Rodgers is worse. I mean, he's
Brady has a
worse.
reason to be arrogant. Rodgers does not have a reason to be arrogant. So, and really, I don't even think Brady is as bad as Rodgers. And I'm not even
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
he
not
is
even a
either.
Rodgers
I
hater.
just Tampa Bay though. I just don't want to see it.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
I
more of a
understand.
media thing than a Brady thing. It's just I get so sick of them just dick riding Tampa Bay. It's just pitiful.
Well,
It's like
that's all they do is dick ride Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers.
that's
That's all they
true.
do.
I know they're both bad. It's kind of like
Shoot,
it's
be
like they're
riding
both.
that
It's
thing
kind of
like a
like
bull.
Kevin Foote says. It's like, do you pull for Stalin or Hitler? It's just you can't
Yeah,
really win. It's like to me as a
man.
Saints fan, they're both
They
evil
be
forces. So
riding
it's like,
Rodgers like a
ugh.
horse in the middle of Texas, man. What you
Right?
talking about, bro? That's
I
all
know.
day
It's just
long.
I guess I'm just petty, man. I never pull for the team that knocks my team out. Like I was rooting hard against the Rams in 2018. I was rooting hard
Well,
against
there's a reason for that,
Minnesota.
though.
You know, I
Yeah, yeah.
mean,
Well,
I always pull against the teams that knocks
there
my
were
team out.
specific reasons for those. Tampa, at least, they beat us. Like they beat
But
us,
I mean,
Philly,
yeah,
San
they
Francisco. You
beat
know
it.
what
But
I'm
I mean,
saying?
we handed it to them. I mean, we can't
Yeah,
blame the refs. We can't
right. That's what
blame,
I'm
man.
saying.
Yeah,
Can't blame the rest of it. Yeah,
we just gave it
absolutely.
to them. That's why I'm just a bit petty. But I mean, that's just part of being a fan. I feel like.
Right. I got you. I got you.
So yeah, then the AFC Championship. I said it early in the week. I said, look, if Mahomes goes, Bills win. If Mahomes don't, I mean, if Mahomes
Right.
goes, Chiefs
Right.
win.
No, I'm with you
If
there.
Mahomes don't go, Bills win. And look, Mahomes is a go. I mean, it wasn't a serious concussion or anything. I mean, it was like just kind of like what Taysom had that week, where he has like a minor concussion and he was back easily.
Right.
So I feel like Mahomes and them, I feel like they'll bounce back. You know, just they're gonna be riding that wave, especially their Andy Reid and that coaching staff. I mean, they just pulled off one of the most miraculous fourth down calls, arguably in NFL history. Just because, like, I myself, like, they're gonna punt it. Like, they're just gonna punt it and hope their defense can stop Cleveland. But nope, they went for it.
Yeah.
It to ice the game. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, only Andy Reid would have the stones to do that. I don't even know if Sean Payton would have pulled that off.
Yeah,
I mean, as
Andy.
gutsy as he is, I mean, that was just
Andy
wow.
definitely pulled out the big nuts
Yeah, with a
last week,
backup
man.
quarterback. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one thing with Mahomes, but I mean, you literally
Yeah.
did that with Chad freaking Henne.
Yeah, man. If
Like, wow,
I'm with you there. I said the same thing, man. If Mahomes plays, I got the Chiefs winning by I want to say somewhere around 6 or 7 points. But if he doesn't play, I got Buffalo winning by about 13,
right,
or
yeah,
14,
it's
somewhere
Henne.
around
Yeah, he
there.
was able to do it in that limited action, but over a full game, there's no way he
Yeah.
could keep up with Josh Allen.
Yeah. So I'm with you there.
But yeah, then if that would happen, like we're thinking, it would be like you had originally predicted, Josh, the State Farm Super Bowl, Packers Chiefs. That would be something, and if that's the
Yep.
case, I will be rooting hard and heavy for Patrick Mahomes,
Oh
man, because
yeah,
I do not want to
absolutely.
see punk ass Aaron Rodgers holding up that trophy. I'd be okay with Patty Mahomes because like I'm cool with Mahomes, man. I know a lot of people are jealous of him, but I mean I feel like they're just jealous. They have no reason to hate him. It's just they're jealous. They envy his success, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna envy somebody just because they're successful. I mean if they're kind of arrogant off the field like Rodgers, and I'm like, yeah, they're cocky, they're annoying, like, but I mean Mahomes is not. Like Mahomes is very very humble. I mean he's about as humble as you can be for someone in his position. He would have every right if he wanted to be. He could be the cockiest, like because he's young, he's successful, like pretty much everything's going his way so far. He could be like, yeah, I'm that dude. I'm the best ever. I'm the best in the league. I'm the future GOAT. He could say all that crap, but he don't, man. He's a great guy. He just seems like a
Nice.
genuine, just good old boy in a way. He's just somebody that's just like somebody you could just like hang out with type thing and
Right.
not feel. I don't think he would big time you. He seemed like he'd be somebody that would actually like just like it'd be like hanging out with a real person. It wouldn't be like you're hanging out with just some like
Well,
stuck up celebrity. I mean,
speaking of feeling that way, and a guy that you feel like you can have a drink with, don't forget the wise words of Travis Kelsey. You
oh
have
man,
to fight for your right to party, baby. And
Oh
that
what?
man's coming this weekend, so I
Oh
can't wait, man.
man, yeah.
I
I
hope
mean, with
Mahomes
that.
plays. I hope he's cleared. Hope he plays. Hope he stays safe, stays healthy, and we get to see a good game between those two, man.
Yeah, man, that's a good point, man. Because Mahomes is not only really good, but he also has the supporting cast, and like and that's what makes it. He's so humble, like to where he knows that he realizes it's not all about him, Because I mean, that supporting cast is a big reason where they are. Because I mean, even when Mahomes got hurt, Hill and Kelsey were still there, and even with Henne were able to do it. Like people saying, anything is possible with the Hennessy reference, but I mean. You go look what he's throwing to.
Yeah.
He's got the best tight end and the best speed receiver in the league. So
Yeah.
I mean, hey, so yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'll be rooting for the Bills in a way, but I mean, another part of me wants to root for the Chiefs just because I feel like they have the best chance of beating either Green Bay or Tampa Bay.
I'm just ready to enjoy that game. Like that one on that side, I'm ready to just sit back and enjoy that game. Now, I like both teams. I like Kansas City and I like the Bills. So I'm
Yeah, hopefully
perfectly
that one will be a
fine
good
with either. Yeah,
shootout.
I'm perfectly fine with either one of them winning. So
Yes, yeah, and again, I'm petty. I kind of hope this game ends up a big shit show. I hope Rodgers and Brady take a dump on national TV, and I hope this game ends up Allen
well, I
and
can
Mahomes
promise you
really
that's probably
showing.
not gonna happen. If we have to
Yeah,
be
I know
real.
that's wishful thinking, but as a somewhat still bitter Saints fan, hey, a man can hope, right?
I got
And
you.
then I'll be going hard for the AFC to win it all. But honestly, though, we'll make our official Super Bowl predictions the next episode or the episode after. But like as of now, I mean, let's watch the game this week. But as of now, I have a feeling like you say it's just Green Bay's year. I mean, I would think Green Bay would take it, but I mean, hey, I don't know. I mean, we'll
We'll
see
see.
how these games go, and I'll definitely be rooting though for Mahomes and the AFC if it is that. But we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. Appreciate everyone that tuned in to the Guru Nation podcast. Appreciate Josh for hopping on as usual. And before we forget, for those of y'all that are interested in DFS and prop games, y'all make sure to head on over to Monkey Knife Fight. That's still our affiliate sponsor, y'all. Huge shout out to them for sticking with us, even during the off season. Well, it's not really the off season, yeah, but I mean for fantasy, it's the off season. And so yeah, y'all go head on over to Monkey Knife Fight and use promo code Guru for up to 50 free bucks to play with, to try out different games. They've got all kind of different games on there. I need to go check it out to see if it's legal in Louisiana now, and if
I
so, we're
don't
gonna
think
have to
so.
start.
I don't think so.
Well,
I wish
whenever.
it was, man.
Oh,
Oh
I'll tell
man.
you what, whenever because they voted that new amendment or whatever, so once it gets allowed, man, we're gonna have to start getting some Monkey Knife Fight
Absolutely.
props and stuff. We're gonna have some prop episodes and things and DFS tips for y'all as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, stay tuned for that, and we'll hopefully have our first guest of the season either next week or the week after. We're still trying to get some lined up, but we've been in touch with different ones. We're gonna get that going here shortly. So all right, y'all, appreciate y'all. Peace.